let's go ahead and look at what activism really is. Everything, as we move into these new frequencies, we see that everything is based on energy and the energy that we're holding about something. And in fact, saying that our energy is about something is an externalization. What we really want to do is hold our truth, be in the flow of our true frequency. And when we do that, all action that we take becomes known. It becomes apparent. We learn to trust the inspiration that comes through us, the inspired action that we are flowing within and guided to take. And it's very frequently not what our mind originally set out to do. So when we talk about this thing, activism, so often what we see in the world is people fighting against things, people fighting against each other's opinions or fighting against something that is causing destruction, right? So, pushing back the destruction, fighting war with war, fighting fire with fire. From an energetic perspective, so often all we're doing is meeting the energy with like energy. And as we know, when we ascend, we want to bring our highest frequency to all of our existence. So we're not actually meeting anything with anything. We are being in our full true energy. And then there are certain things that meet us, and we experience and we continue to flow our true frequency. And as we do that, different things occur, right? Because it starts with frequency. It doesn't start with what action to take, it starts with frequency. And the frequency determines the action. If we find ourselves fighting anything, then we are disempowering ourselves. We're taking our power that's within the beingness of our true frequency, and we are putting it external to ourselves in the form of fighting a situation or fighting really anything. Being opposed to anything is actually a vote in favor of it because we're meeting like with like. So, what we really want to do is move out of any sort of fight, any sort of opposition. We don't want to be resistant to anything because that is actively voting against our own personal empowerment. When we are in our true frequency, we everything looks different. First, everything looks different. And second, we don't we don't feel the need to meet things where they are. We actually can witness things. And then from there, we receive the guidance, the quickest, easiest way to handle whatever it is. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Here's the funny thing and the highly ironic thing. Most of the time, when people are engaged in activism, it is a fight for drama. It is a desire to continue drama because we are used to the dramatic paradigms where we fight things, where we work for things, where we push against things. We are so much more comfortable being disempowered and placing our empowerment outside of ourselves than we are sitting and being present. There is a deep fear that we will meet boredom, that we will disappear, that people won't see us if we're not engaged in the drama. And we don't think of it as drama. We see it as a worthy cause, but it is actually drama. It is actually engaging in relooping patterns. That's what drama is. So when we disengage from all of that, the ego tends to respond with fear that we'll be bored, fear that we'll disappear, that people won't see us, that we won't matter, and fear that it's interesting because this is a much lesser fear, but it is a fear that things will be destroyed and that it's out of our control. But again, that's part of control. When we feel like we need to control something external to ourselves, we are in a disempowerment loop within. So, really, most activism, and this is a strong statement, but listen to everything before this if you're just getting this clip. Most activism is purely engaging in drama. So, check with yourselves. Are you doing this so that you will feel valid? Are you doing this so that you can people please or be respected by your peers or even be recognized and seen by those around you? Because there is a deep fear that starts to arise as people awaken that you will disappear, because the truth is you will disappear from the people that you're used to engaging with on a specific frequency if they stay in that frequency. When you're engaged on a specific frequency, you're seen, but not really. We're never actually seeing each other from the dramatic paradigms. We're only seeing projected views of our own fears when we're engaged in drama. So if we take a moment to pause and not continue to engage, and this is any drama in your home, in your community, in the world collective, any sort of drama that we're engaged in, when we pause and we become the observer, we do disappear from the people who we may be very used to engaging with. And then our ego fights with, oh, they're going to think that backed out. They're going to think this and that and the other. And okay, so they don't see you. And then we adjust internally to being comfortable in our new vantage point of being able to see. And this is the only way that we will ever actually create change. Imagine this, and the property owner has a tractor, so I'm seeing like dirt pushed around. So this is the example. This is where that example is coming from. Imagine you've got two people on tractors, and one person's like, "Hey, this is my idea," and pushes the dirt this way, and then the other person says, "Hey, this is my idea," pushes the dirt this way. How much change are we actually creating? How much change are we creating by being on the same level and fighting the same fight, or fighting, period? When we disengage from that, a lot happens. We actually look at it from a dispassionate, from a non emotionally attached perspective. And actually, we can see, and this is getting into specifically earth activism. I don't know if I'm even facing the camera anymore. Then we can start to see that when we disengage, the things that we were fighting for or fighting against, or the things that we were afraid of happening, when we zoom out, when we become the observer, we see that actually the earth has a beautiful plan, that it's all unfolding perfectly. There's very little that we actually need to do. And again, that might ruffle some feathers, right? Check in. Check in. Why does that feel scary? Now, there are many people who feel that their purpose is activism, that their purpose is, fighting the good fight, fighting for those who can't speak. Again, this is all probably going to be hard to hear. But what you're really fighting for when you are fighting for those disempowered is you're fighting for the disempowerment within yourself. You recognize within yourself something that you see or you perceive yourself to see in another, or in another group of people, or in the earth. People who deeply fear the destruction happening on the planet. Check in with yourself and how much of that is a fear for your own lack of control, your own perception of helplessness. Now, that's not to say that these things aren't truly happening. That's not to say that there aren't people being absolutely deeply hurt, and the earth being, there's a lot of destruction caused by humans. Those things are very true. It's just that we can't actually see what's going on if we are engaged on the same vibrational frequency. because what's really going on is always internal, projected external. And that taps us into the collective. And when we are connected in oneness, then we can really see what's needed, because it's not bypassing and it's not ignoring. When we internalize it and we say, how does this feel within myself? Where am I recognizing this external story within myself? That's actually doing a lot more, because we really want to fix what's hurt within. And when we're handling what's within, we are doing so much for the collective. In fact, that's all we're ever doing. That's all we're ever doing. And that feels so scary. It feels like, oh, I can't ignore this. This is big. Absolutely. Why is it big? Because it lives within every single one of us. And we need to handle it within ourselves. Yes, external. Do the things that you're called to do. But witness, where is it coming from? Handle the stuff within. Always, always, always. Become the witness. This doesn't mean that you stop caring. It actually means that you're able to do more. You become a superhuman of sorts. You just disengage in the drama, the spinning of the wheels that really just pushes the dirt back and forth. And those of you who are deeply engaged in service for the earth and for those who are suffering on the planet, we commend you. When it comes from a place that is truly in tune with, when I love you, I love myself. When it comes from that place, it is powerful work. It's just so helpful for the majority of the collective to hear that it's not out there, it's in here. Most people in the collective, that's where their consciousness needs a boost, or would do well with a boost, let's say, because it's too much getting involved in the drama. And there are definitely beings who are heartfelt, service oriented. And that is a process in our ascension, because we cease to see separation between ourselves and another and the earth. We cease to see separation. And when we cease to see separation, of course we want to help the person next to us. It's us. And the help doesn't always look the way that we think it does from our mental point of view. It's not long suffering. That's just sharing in the suffering. It's actual help. It's actual shifting. It's actual change when we are in a different vibratory standpoint.